Let's do this again. Sorry about that. We were not live on the right page. I'm sorry, guys. So we're gonna do everything again. Waiting for more people to join in. Welcome, welcome. Hello, guys. Welcome. We're gonna wait for more people to join in tonight. It's gonna be English only. We're gonna debrief the Montpellier Grand Prix warm-up. So please share that link to everybody that is using Kyosho car, any other car that maybe run the Montpellier GP. We're gonna give you some really nice tips that we learned this weekend. So I'm gonna wait for, let's say, like 100 people. So please share that link. Hi everybody. It's gonna be English only tonight. Hi Chris. Back with Kyosho. Hi everybody. English only tonight, like I said. We're gonna wait for more people to join in. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We were in southern France for the Montpellier Grand Prix warm-up. I'm still trying to turn that image, but it doesn't work. I don't know what Facebook is doing about it. I really wish it would be working, but it's not. That's bad. Everybody's hearing me correctly. French is gonna be next week, guys. Français la semaine prochaine. English only tonight. We've been doing many tutorials in French. I think you guys might need some assistance in English also. I know many of you guys are using Kyosho cars that might run the Montpellier GP also, and you might need a help on the cars. So we're gonna debrief about the race, what we've been testing with the guys after the race, during the race, also for the tires with AKA, and also on the Kyosho cars. So I say the 100 people. We're only 74 right now. Let's share that video. I'm gonna do that. That's what I wanted to do before I didn't write the right post in the right page, so I started again. So 80. Who said 100? Let's go, come on. Share. We can do it. I'm sharing it myself. No, not on that page. On my page. I'm sharing it. Nice. You can start a watch. That's pretty good. If you're here, comment. Then I'm gonna see all your comments. If you have questions, just let me know. We're gonna be about here together for an hour. Because you guys were waiting for the video to be posted on my Facebook page, Reno Savoia. We're gonna be live on Kyosho Europe, pretty often actually. Hi Ryan, what's up, buddy? 96. Come on, 4 more. Here we go. 100. We are 99. Who left? Like I said, I'm waiting for 100 people to join in. We're gonna go through the debrief of the Montpellier Grand Prix. Thank you guys for following us. It's been a great weekend for us with the team. I got everything. I think your comments, we're there, we're on time, it works. So like I said, please share that video. Make sure everybody is watching. Mike is here with us. Mike give us some tips also on the cars, on the tires, to get you guys ready for the outdoor season. Tonight it's gonna be about Montpellier, but I'm pretty sure what we're gonna say is gonna help you for those really cold weather, low grip tracks like Padova, like we had in Montpellier. So I'm making sure it's working. Yes, Neo, we improved a lot, and it's not even close to what I'm thinking. So yes. So like I said, tonight we're gonna debrief about the race, what we've tested. So let's start from the beginning. The race, the warm-up, like we call the warm-up, is just a race with practices. So we got to the track on Saturday morning. We had only 5-minute run to get our stuff ready, and then we went to qualifiers. So for me, it was pretty hard because I didn't know anything about the tires that we work in those conditions. So I listened to my teammates, Ryan and Davey, and all those great guys we have in France about the tires. So I started with P1 in super soft compound. It was pretty good, but the track, they put oil on it. So if you guys were there for the Grand Prix last year or the last few years, the track is not even close to what we had before. So they put oil on it. I think it's cooking oil. So it looks pretty abrasive, but it's not. It's pretty slippery. It's consuming tires also more than what we had for the last couple of years. It creates a really nice brew groove, but it's not super high grip. The grip is pretty low also. The temperature was about 5 degrees Celsius, so it's really cold. Get your winter jacket ready for sure. And we're gonna talk about the setup also, but first get ready for the track conditions. So like I said, we had 4 qualifiers. The 3 best ones were counted, and then only 10-minute races on Sunday. So it was pretty tough because, you know, when you get there, you get everything ready, and you only have to like get your car ready, the tires ready, everything only in 5 minutes, and then you were fighting with the quickest guys in Europe. So since the first practice, I was pretty fast. I got in the top 6 in the first practice and then first qualifier. And then I tried a few things that we were thinking that would improve the behavior of the car for the low grip conditions. You guys can hear me? Yeah, I got all the messages and everything. So basically we started to work on the car to give more grip to the wheel. So working on the car and working on the tires to find the proper balance, front and rear. I started with the setup I had in Padova, the one I posted after the race. So I had light purple front springs, 812 SP front shock pistons, 814 in the back SP also. And I felt my car was good. It was generating a lot of grip, but it was not that easy to drive. I had too much steering. It's basically the problem that you generate in Padova. You need a big amount of steering in Padova, and when you get out of those conditions, it makes the car a little bit harder to drive. So I work on the setup with shock springs, for example, to give more stability to the rear end. So I went with the red rear springs. That's something I would really recommend. The stock light blue are really good, but I think the red ones gives a little bit more rear grip, so the balance felt a bit better like that. That's a few things I tried during the race. It's always tough because you're under the clock. You don't really want to take big risks, but the Grand Prix was here for that. So the warm up, sorry. That's what I felt. I know many guys were there to race. I was there to learn. It was basically the first track I've been to and run the car after Padova, so everything was new for me. And I listened to the guys and I made my own experience. So it was definitely interesting. I learned a lot during the race, but we had only 10 runs, maybe not even that. We had 5, 4, and 4, so only 9 runs. So basically, you want to try tires, you want to try compounds, you want to try tread for tires, and it was definitely not enough. So I spent a full day yesterday at the track with the team in order to get our stuff ready. For sure, you're gonna have our setups posted here on Kyosho Europe. You guys are joining. Welcome. Sorry, I'm not speaking in French. It's English only tonight. Share that video because I know you guys want to have answers also, and I'm definitely sure that some of you guys don't know the Kyosho Europe page, so please share that video. That's what I did, and I think you guys can have some answers. So yes, Vincent, the red springs are softer. I'm doing it in English, and French guys are still following us and asking questions. That's amazing. What did they do to the blue part of the track? They seem to have much more grip than before. Wow, Max, you used Google Translation or what? Yeah, the blue section of the track, it's usually really slippery. It's painted, but I think at that time it's just worn out. The paint is worn out, so we definitely had more grip on that section than when we had for the last couple of years. But from what I heard, they're gonna paint it again for the Grand Prix. So that part was pretty abrasive for once, but I'm pretty sure for the Grand Prix it's gonna be slippery again. So the video shows that that section had a lot of grip. I think in 3 weeks it's not gonna be the case. It's gonna be way different. So hi George, hi everybody. You say it was slippery, but after the quad, does it get more traction with the blue groove? Yeah, I think with the oil, the surface is really improving. So I think from the first practice we had to the tracks we had yesterday, the groove came out, the grip came out also. But it's gonna rain. The track is supposed to be closed between now and the real race. So I think the weather is gonna do the job, and when we're gonna get to the real race, the Grand Prix, the grip is gonna go lower. So I wouldn't expect the grip to be that high for the Grand Prix actually. Yes, Neo, like I said, no one liked my fuel tubing experience. So we were working with Alberto Pico on like something different for the pipe. We already had different pipes with the exhaust in the front. This one was like, it's a prototype. It's just in the front to see what it does. Trying to save a bit of fuel mileage. It was pretty good actually. I tried that yesterday, but I need some more track time to learn and test it again. But yeah, that's at least my fuel tubing looks a lot better now. Vincent, I use bladder. So if you guys want to go into technical details, we can. But I was talking about the race first. But if you guys have question, Ryan made you be is in the place. What's up, Ryan made you be? Yes, Ryan was really part of our improving performance yesterday. I think it's amazing what we've done for the last 3 days with the team. Honestly, I feel really confident that we are all working together. We tried a bunch of stuff yesterday together, and we had the same feeling. We had yeah, every single time we tried something on the car, we all agreed that it was better. Doesn't really matter about our driving experience or what we were looking for. We were like happy and sharing, and it was really amazing. I really had an amazing experience with those guys. And yeah, like I said, some were like slower than us because it's the team, and we were sharing the experience, and we all had the same feeling. I'm gonna go through the details later on, but for sure, I'm really happy to be part of the Red Samurai team right now. We're gonna go through the question a little bit. Robbie, how much of a difference is there between the MP9 and MP10? I know someone who has a great deal on MP9 to get me back into my... Honestly, Robbie, I don't know the MP9 that much. The only MP9 I drive is this one, the brushless car. But I know that the MP10 is a really nice and big improvement from the MP9. So I would say the MP9 is an amazing car. If you can get a good deal on this one, get it. But if you can get a good deal on the MP10, get the MP10. Yes, one day we do that. I don't know where Ryan is. He's maybe in his sofa right now. So I'm not sure that he's really expecting us to join him in live. Mike, did you try making the car wider? Nope, sorry, bro. I didn't yet. I mean, the list of things I wanted to try yesterday was like this long. So I really wanted to go on the track today and test more. But the track was closed and it was raining. So I was expecting to go to another track really close to this one with pretty much the same conditions. But it was raining also, so sorry guys, I couldn't have more experience. But we're gonna go through the details for sure. I wanted to do many other tests and many other things, but it's always really exciting. Like, you get a new car, you want to get everything ready as much as possible, and it's really frustrating. Like, I went to the track, I want to be competitive, and I don't know what this is doing, I don't know what that is doing. And especially about the tires, like, those races at the beginning of the season, the weather is really cold, and it's from one to another, there is a huge difference. Like, depending on the tire you're gonna choose or the compound, you especially there, like Padova or Montpellier, the one you're gonna pick up, the compound you're gonna pick up, the difference is about 1 second per lap. Like, I went through, I think it was the second or third qualifier. My car felt amazing. Like, I felt I had a good car, really easy to drive, and yeah, I was driving it like, oh yeah, I should be on the TQ pace. Like, yeah, it's really good. And then I checked the lap times. I was like, no way, I'm that slow, really? So it's pretty frustrating. Like, especially in those conditions, like, sometimes you can have an amazing feeling, but if you don't have the lap times, it doesn't mean anything. We had that also yesterday. We tried, like, the super soft compound from AKA, and then we went to the clay compound from AKA, and then we had an amazing feeling with the super soft, but the clay was like almost a second per lap faster with the same feeling on the track. So if you're practicing by yourself, sometimes you're just, yeah, having the feeling, but it's always good to have the lap times and check both, because sometimes you can go wrong, and especially in those conditions. Maybe other questions. What do you think the other driver found better than you, or what you find better with setup the day next? Yeah, like I said, we worked on that many things. We worked on shocks, we worked on hubs, we worked on weights to make the car better. I think the main difference were the tires. We found that the clay compound was the fastest. So if you guys are gonna go to the Montpellier Grand Prix race, I would advise you to bring clay compound. Super soft, ultra soft were great, but in those conditions, I felt the clay was a little bit faster, more precise, and also, like I said, a little bit faster. If you have only ultra soft and super soft, it's gonna be amazing also. But I don't know what the temperature and the conditions are gonna be like at the race. I know it's raining right now. It might rain also from now to the race. So different compounds might be good at that time. So we don't really know what's gonna happen, but we know that we worked on the car to make it better. No, sorry, patatas. I don't speak. No hablo español. Did you stick with 773 for the diffs, or did you make a change? If you did a change, what did you change, and how it affect the car? So, like I said, I'm going step by step. I really wanted to try many things. Mainly what I've been doing on Saturday, I've been like wanting my car to be more stable on the back, and just making it easier to drive, to cruise around and do like really fast lap times. I feel sometimes like when the car is super hard, I mean super fast, it's also a little bit harder to drive. So I wanted to make my car easier to drive, and then I could push harder to make it faster. And so I worked on that. And for me, the 773 diff setup was pretty stable. So I think at that time that it was a good setup, and I didn't change anything about that yet. I know that the diffs are making a big difference, but honestly, at that time I didn't have like the experience to test something else. I know that Ryan was using 5-10-3, I guess. I think it's a really good setup also, because his car looked amazing on the track. So I think you guys can give it a try to 5-10-3 or 5-5-3. I will try as much as I can before the race. I wanted to test it today actually, but because the track was closed and we couldn't race, we couldn't practice on the other car, I couldn't test actually. Hi Bastien, only English, but yes, welcome. Did you try another C hubs beside stock 17.5? We ran 16. Honestly, in Padova, I had the 13 degrees caster block. I think on that car, the 16 is really good. So the C hubs, because with C hub, with the 16 degrees, you can go from 15 to 17, and I think for 8 scale off road, it's the right window. So, especially here when the track is low grip, I think the 16 is really good. So then you can adjust with the bushing, you can adjust the position and go like 15 or 17. And I think the balance is really good like that. I think 17 and a half is really good also. You can go 16 and a half. But if you want to go less, you need to change the caster block. So you need to change the caster block. So like I say, we work on that. And Laurent, did you use harder roll bar at the back? I kept the same roll bar, so I was using 2.2 in the front, 2.3 in the front, 2.8 in the back. So I stick with those. I think with the 2.9s, the car would be a little bit too stiff. I tried in Padova, and I didn't really like the feeling of the rear sway bar being stiffer. I think when you land a jump with a stiffer sway bar, the car doesn't really react like it should. It just make it too stiff, and I will go through that also in the shock pistons. But that's the feeling I had with the shock pistons with too much pack. So I stick with the 2.8, and I think it was better. You can go with a 2.6, for example, or 2.7, but I tried that in Padova, and I feel like when you accelerate, the car tends to roll a little bit more from the back, and it was making it more slippery. So basically 2.8 for me was the good balance. 2.7 would give you more on power steering and maybe a little bit less. So it might be a little bit more stable for you guys that are like going off power, waiting for the car to steer. But if you are like punching it, I think 2.8 is the right balance. I like to punch it, so 2.8 was pretty good for me. Frederic, welcome. We'll go through a question after, but we were on the clutch with Neo. Clutch, I tried a few things on the clutch. Honestly, my P3X was amazing. Like I said in Padova, my engines are really good. I could overtake cars in the straightaway. Like, really. I was starting the straightaway, punching it, and the engine would rev, and I could clear 2 meters off the other cars in the straightaway. So I was like, woohoo, this is good. I mean, you're saving time. Like, you can get the lines you want, everything you want, but just that portion of the track in front of the driver's stand, and you're just punching it, and you don't have to do anything that meep, and you're waiting for the car to go like full speed, and you're like clearing 2 meters from the other car. That's amazing. So my engine was really, really, really powerful, and I tried to make it a little bit smoother. So that's why I went with 3 carbon shoes and 0.95 springs. I tried 0.9. I think 0.9 springs are really good, but you need the engine to have a lot of torque. I know with the P3X you can do that. I tried, and it was really good. It, for me, generates a little bit more traction. The car was a little bit easier to drive also. So if you have a really punchy engine like the P3X or the Blast, I would recommend 3 carbon shoes, 0.95 springs, and if it's too much still, 0.9. I'm still using the stock gear ratio, 1346. Same. I think with a powerful engine, you can go a little bit longer than that. So I might go 1348 at one time, and I think it might be a good option too. La qualité vidéo est moins bonne que d'habitude. Sorry, guys. Frederic, yes, you said purple springs. Yes, I worked a lot on the front springs. Honestly, I went back to the gray stock ones. In Padova, I went with the light purple ones. I felt the car had more roll from the front, it generated a little bit more grip. But yesterday I tried every springs combination, front and rear. I tried the light blue in the back. I tried the purple in the back, and same in the front. During the race with Ryan, we went light purple in the front, light purple in the rear. I think at that time the track had maybe a little bit less grip, so because of the front and rear softer springs, the car was rolling more and it was generating more grip. So the car was easier to drive. We had more traction, and also the softer springs in the front, so the light purple get more steering. But as soon as we got used to the track and the groove, and I think we didn't need that much steering. So I went back to the blue ones and then the gray ones, and my car was better. I feel with the stock gray ones, the car is landing better. With the purple, I felt like it had really good steering. The car was diving a little bit more into the corner, so I had more steering at the loop, for example. But landing the jump, it felt like it was bouncing a little bit more. It was bouncing more with the light blue, with the light purple than the gray ones. So with the gray ones, it was absorbing more, and it seems like the car was more precise also. So I would say that's gonna be my basic setup, like gray ones in the front, maybe light blue in the back or red, but the light blue in the back made the car a little bit stiffer. I've posted a video yesterday from my car, and some of the guys were saying like it seems pretty stiff in the back, and I had the light blue springs, so I went with the red ones, and the car was absorbing the bumps better. It gave more grip, and it was better. So basically what I felt yesterday about the springs is the softer you go, the more roll, the more grip you're gonna get, but to the point like it's too much and then it's not landing as good from the jumps. Vincent, what's the difference with the Blast? So we're talking about the engine now. What's the difference between the P3X and the Blast? I said that many times, but both engines are the same geometry, same piston and sleeve, but just the crankshaft is different. The crankshaft in the Blast has a black coating, and the P3X doesn't. That's making the price difference, but the performances are the same. On track, the engines are the same power, same reliability, same stability, but just the P3X is cheaper because it doesn't have the black coating. So like I said, you might go like at least 20 liters with the P3X, but you can go 30, maybe more with the Blast. That's gonna be the only difference, because on track the performance is gonna be the same. I tried both. I can tell you that. So going back to the setup, we've been going through the sway bars, the springs. That's the things we've been working on yesterday. And like I said, in Padova for the race, I made some changes, and last weekend for the warm-up I did the same. Like I was waiting for my car to do something, so I went one way, but I didn't know if it was better or not. And yesterday I could take the time to like go back to back testing, and the major thing that we found is like many of you guys were using the weights in the caster blocks and in the hubs. I felt the weights gave more rotation to the car. So for example, if you put the hubs weights in the back, the car is gonna have more rotation and a little bit less stability. So on Saturday and Sunday, when we wanted the car to have more grip, we mounted them front and rear, and it seems like yesterday we found out that it was a mistake. So I would advise you to run those weights if the track has a lot of grip. So you want the car to be more on top of the track, maybe getting less roll, being a little bit more stiff on the track. So if the grip is higher, but if the grip is lower, I would recommend to go with the plastic inserts. For me, it was definitely a lot better. The car was absorbing the bumps also a little bit better. So the weights only for a high bite. We worked also on the rear hubs. I started a race with the plastic hubs. I tried in Padova going back and forth with the plastic and aluminum. I think honestly that the aluminum makes a big difference. The stock plastic hubs make the car really easy to drive, but sometimes it can have more rotation and sometimes it can be stable. So it's not really consistent grip. So when you mount the plastic, you're gonna feel the rear end is really stable, but sometimes, especially in the 180s, the car is gonna rotate more, have more rotation, and you can feel that it has less grip. So I went with the aluminum one, and the car was definitely one step faster. I felt that it had more rear grip. The car was more into the track. Hi, Cody. You can share that video also for you guys to know the Kyosho Europe page, right? So yeah, like I say, the rear hubs in aluminum, it make the car more stable to me. So if you're looking for the car to be steering from the rear, like having a nice little slide from the back, you can use the plastic ones. But if you like me, the rear to be really stable and to be like, yeah, really stable, easy to drive, locked from the rear, I would definitely go with the aluminum hubs. Definitely a big step forward. That's what we found out yesterday, and we did proper back-to-back test with 3 guys, so we really agree. We all agree on that. Ali, about the new gear ratio, the 4212. Yeah, I know Yushik and I tried those gears, and some of the team guys. I honestly didn't have those gears yet. From my own experience, from X-Ray back in the days, I know that the gear ratio makes a big difference. Going 4212 is gonna be shorter. So from, like I said, from my own experience, I didn't try on that car yet. Every single car is different from one to another, but every single time I went with the shorter gear ratio in the gearboxes, and you go longer in the center, the car is gonna be more reactive, but it might be slower. So I would recommend those new gears. Like I said, it's only theoretical because I didn't try that on that car yet, so I don't know what it's gonna do. But from what I've tried on some other cars, if you go with a shorter gear ratio in the drivetrains, the car is gonna feel more reactive, more punchy, but then you might lose some traction, especially if the traction from the track is lower. You're gonna generate more wheel spin, but maybe less forward bite. You're gonna feel the car will be faster because it's more nervous, more reactive, but it might not be faster actually. So I will let you know more when I know about that. But yet, that's what I'm thinking about it, and that might be true. Maybe some of you guys already tried those gears, and you can give us your feedback. Maybe Cody or some other guys. I want to say also that we worked on the shock pistons. I know most of you guys like the 1.2, 1.3 combinations from the kit. Those with 8 holes still. Those pistons are amazing, but sometimes it makes the car a little bit too stable, a little bit too lazy, and that's why we're using the SP pistons. I know many other guys from other brands are using SP pistons. So SP pistons from Kyosho are the incline, so the hole is not straight in the piston, it's has an incline. It gives more pack to the car. So basically the effect is gonna be like you have a thicker oil but at high speed. So it's gonna lock the piston in the shock, more pack, more surface when you want to lock the shock at high speed. But into the corner, when you go low speed and the shaft goes low speed in the shock cartridge, it's gonna be pretty much the same as going with the softer oil. So the SP piston is having the same feeling as a thicker oil with the same piston. I don't know if it's really clear, but let me say that differently. If you have the SP piston incline, if you are using a 500 silicone oil, for example, it's gonna be like a 600 feeling with the straight holes. So to get the same feeling, you can go with a softer oil, but at low speed your shock is still gonna be softer. So the effect, for example, when I like it in the front, is like you having the same pack when you land the jump, so the car is not gonna bounce that bad. But when you get into the corner, the car is still gonna be soft, so you can still get that roll and traction. So that's why I like it a lot in the front. 812 SP incline, and we were using 8 holes 1.4 in the back in Padova, for example. I know Ricky Berton is using those shock pistons a lot. We ran pretty much the whole warm-up with those pistons. The problem is, with those pistons, you have more pack. So it's gonna lock the shock a lot more at high speed. So when you land a jump, for example, high speed shock, it's gonna lock more. And I felt in like landing those jumps, you have many off cambers, many different wriggling in the track, and we went to the 8 holes 1.3, and the car was definitely easier to drive. So if you want the car to be easier to drive, go 1.2, 1.3 with just the stock pistons. More grip, go to the SP ones. But the limit is gonna be the absorption of the bumps. If the car feels rigid on the track, a little bit too stiff, and if you go lower in oil but it still does the same, you can go back to the stock straight holes pistons. Yeah, like I said, Cody, I don't know. It's usually super loose, but this year they put oil on the track, so they changed the way they were like mixing the dirt, so the grip was a lot higher. I know from some other guys that it's the first time that the clay compound is working in those conditions. So I don't know. I don't know what the grip is gonna be like. I'm expecting the grip to be higher than what we had for the last few years. It was already higher yesterday than what it was for the weekend. So when we practiced yesterday, the lap times were maybe not a second, but almost a second faster than on Sunday, because more drivers, more fumes on the track, more rubber also. So I know it's gonna be it's gonna wash out until the race. The weather is gonna do its job. It's gonna rain. They're gonna work on the track also a little bit more to make it different, but we'll see. We don't know yet. Yeah, it's a lot darker. Yes. Neo, we're gonna post the setup later for sure. Maybe tomorrow I will post the setup I'm ending up with. That's the setup I would advise to start with for the Grand Prix. It's 813 inclines. 812 inclines in the front, 813 straight in the back, with 350 and 450. That's what I'm using right now. So yes, we worked also on those things like the Ackerman. The Ackermans, I know you guys are using the number 3 holes most of the time on the steering plate. That's what I like also. If you guys want the car to be more aggressive, you go more forward. If you want the car to be more lazy, more back. That's one of the things I didn't try yet. I think the steering felt really natural. So if your steering doesn't feel natural, maybe you can adjust the Ackerman a little bit. But for me, it was really natural. Like if you go 50% on the steering wheel, the car was doing 50%. So if it's really aggressive and you want the car to be a little bit more lazy, you go full back on the Ackerman plate. If you want the car to be more nervous, more aggressive, you just move the link forward. So we've been through the weights, the hubs, the springs, the pistons, the clutch, now the wing. Sometimes, like Ryan, for example, he's thinking that his MP10 doesn't have enough steering. So in Montpellier, he was fighting for the car to be a little bit more nervous from the front and less stable from the back. So that's why he wanted, and he used the plastic hubs, but he lost some speed. So he went to the aluminum hubs. He liked them. The car was definitely more consistent. And then we were drilling holes in the wing to give more rotation. So last week in the last tutorial, we were talking about the holes in the wing, and that's definitely something that is helping the rear end to be a little bit more playful. Not that much, but it just gives takes away some grip on the back, and then you get more corner speed. The car doesn't lock that bad in in the in the corners. Other questions, maybe? Nicholas, yes, I'm using a prototype pipe right now. Pico already has a 2099 pipe with the pressure line here already in the front, almost against like the exhaust. We tried a new version with the pressure here. The objective is to get less pressure in the pipe, in the fuel line, to get a better fuel mileage. I know that the engine for me might be a little bit too powerful yet, so we are trying to make some little adjustments on the pipes and the surroundings of the engine to make it a little bit smoother in those conditions. I know that engine is going to be amazing this summer when we need super high power on super high bite conditions, but as of right now, with the grip level being really low, we want the engine to be smoother, and that's what I found with the clutch, with the 3 carbon shoes, 0.9 springs, and that pipe is helping also a little bit. But honestly, on the track, the feeling was really close to the 2135. The feeling, the power was almost the same as the 2135. 2099 is really powerful. It's even more punchy. So if you have a truggy, for example, go with the 2099. If you have a buggy, go 2135. It's going to be smoother, and the mileage is going to be also a little bit better. Hi Daniel. Like I said before, nope, I'm not using the new gears yet. I'm using the stock gears. We're going to go through the options I have on my car a little bit later on. What do you use to grease your tires? Grease? No, I don't grease the tires. Just cleaning them before gluing them with some paint thinner or simple green, and then gluing them. So yeah, I think we've been going through a few things around here about the car, the setup. Yeah, shock positions. I know you guys have been trying that also, going with number 1 hole in the front, number 1 hole in the back, and I think when you're laying down the shocks, front or rear, it gives more roll, so you can have the feeling that the car will have more grip, but sometimes the car locks and stops in the corner. So that's why I like the number 2 position in the shock towers. I think it has maybe a little bit ignition steering with number 2, but the car stays flat into the corner. I know some of you guys asked me the question, like, how do you make the car so stiff into the corner to stay there and it doesn't stop? I would say I think the number 2 position in the front tower might be one of those options that is making a really big difference. Number 1 makes the car more twitchy, more aggressive. Number 2 gets out that twitchiness, but you have more mid-corner and exit steering. Nicola is asking about the pipe. No, I don't think it's gonna be sold as of yet. We might get a new pipe, but it's not gonna be before the next 6 months or something like that. The Pico pipes are really good right now. We're working on the 2135 already. It's already sold with the Racing Experience name from Kyosho Europe. So if you want the 2135 pipe that goes with the Pico engine, you can buy the Racing Experience one. So yeah, maybe we can talk about the options that I'm running on my car. If you don't have that other questions. The only options I'm running on my car now are the titanium screw kit from Kyosho. I'm using the aluminum steering and throttle horns. I think it's definitely improving the reliability of the car. Plastic horns are really good, but sometimes when the weather is cold, you're gonna break them, or when the weather is hot, it's gonna go like spin in it. The rear red springs, that comes as an option. Rear 2.8 sway bars. Rear aluminum hubs. And that's pretty much it. The top aluminum mount for the shocks, it's just in order to make it lighter. We always feel that when the car is lighter, it's gonna go faster. And yeah, the rear shock tower, hard. I had the hard one in the front, but I wanted to try also that one, the stock one, because I have some of the guys that say that it's really good also. So I tried that. And yeah, I tried to think about something else. If you see anything else, let me know. If you have any question also, just shoot me a message or let me know right now. Ali, that's a really good question about the future options that might be coming out in the future. Honestly, I'm not into like those questions yet. Like I said, I've been with Kyosho for what, 2 weeks only, almost 3 weeks. So I will have many more answers in the next future, but right now I don't have that many answers. I will for sure. About the brake balance, I like the car to rotate a lot on the brakes. I know especially if you have a small track, you like the car to rotate on brakes. So I have like almost 50-50, or I would say 55-45 brake balance. A little bit more in the front though. If you have too much in the back, when you brake, the car is gonna get twitchy, unstable. So I like the front end to have more brakes. Michael asked about the drive shafts. That was on my to-do list. I wanted to try the CVAs on the wheels, in the center line also. Honestly, yesterday I had many things to try also. I went almost 1.5 faster than Sunday. So I could feel that the car and the package, I had already an amazing balance and performance on Sunday, but I could feel that it was not perfect yet. And with all those details that I mentioned, the balance was a lot better with the tires, the grip. So I went 1.5 seconds faster. Some of the guys were racing with me, or practicing with me at that time, and I felt the pace was pretty good. So we'll see what it does in 3 weeks. I'm pretty confident, honestly. Yesterday it was great. I posted some videos. I was really having fun. I could place the car wherever I wanted. I know Cyril also tried my car yesterday night, and he said it's really easy. I just want the car to be there in the turn, and it goes there. So I was really happy also that somebody else tried my car to have the feeling about it. And sometimes, you go in one direction, but it fits your driving style, but it's not that easy to drive. And then when he took my radio and said, yeah, it's pretty easy. So I was happy about that. Like I said, yeah, the CVAs, I wanted to try that. If the weather is okay in the next future days, I'm going to give it a try and I will let you guys know. But from my own experience, I think the CVAs is going to give more traction to the car. Maybe a little bit more forward bite, but it's also generating some maybe not problems, but it's gonna make the geometry stiffer. The suspension is going to go stiffer also. If you have a CVA drive shaft, for example, it always wants to go straight. So what's good with those universals is the suspension and the transmission are separate. So if you accelerate or you're on brakes or off power, the suspension is still working the same. With the CVA, when you accelerate, the shaft want to go straight always, and it can make the car a little bit more bouncy, not as good in the bumps. So if the track is flat, I might think CVA might be faster, but the car might be stiffer also. So in Montpellier, I think it might be a good option. if I have time before, I will try, and if I don't have time or the weather to be okay before the race, I might try that during the race. I know, I think Elliot in some of the Montpellier Grand Prix were using it, so especially also in the center line. I think if you have maybe dog bone or CVA, I think it might have a little bit more punch, a little bit more bottom end to the car. So that might be a good options for the Grand Prix that we can improve. Like I said, it's a new car, so many details, so many tuning options, and one day like yesterday was not enough for sure. I was really having fun, but I just want to go more. Like I was so frustrated tonight, like I wanted to go back to the track, and the weather sucked and it rained, so I couldn't. I'm happy to be home, but I wanted to race. I wanted to practice more. Nigel, why don't you need to this? Yeah, like I said, that's not the kind of questions I really like. I don't like to compare cars from what I was using before to what I'm using now. But honestly, from all the feedbacks I had from my friends, from the customers, it's one of the only car that you build out of the box. You don't have to drill the arms. You don't have to punch the camber links. You don't have to do anything. You just build it, go on the track, and have fun. The car is gonna be easy to drive. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, it's one of those cars that from the first tank you can think that it has, you can feel that it has a huge potential. And honestly, that's what I felt the first time I went in Padova. I really I was like, whoa, what can I do to make it faster? What can I do to make it better? Because it's already amazing, you know? So I don't really want to compare to the other cars I had before, like I said, but yeah, it's the feeling you have for the first time you go on the track. Peter, are you talking about glue or about grease? And Peter answers yes. So we don't know. Nice. So we're gonna wait about Peter answers. Chris, no weight on the chassis. Good question. I was already forgetting about it. Like I said, on Saturday we were waiting and wanting more rear grip, so I put the weight in the back on the chassis. I think putting the weight on the back of the chassis make the car more wiggle. So it felt like more weight on the chassis make the rear bounce more into the corner. So I felt without the rear weight, the car was more stable, which is for me not logical. Like I would expect when you put more weight on the chassis, the car would be more stable on the drivetrain you put the weight on. But I think it's just about the balance. The weight bias of the car is really good the way it is, and putting more weight on the back made it a little bit twitchy, and the rear had a little bit more slide. Like I said, it's a driver preference. So if you like the car to have a nice rotation from the back, and it depends also the track conditions. Montpellier was really slippery, it's like Padova, so it just gives a nice slide, and with the weight you might like it. But yesterday when I went back and I took it off, my car was better. But in the front, when I put the 20 rams from Kyosho, the option, my car was better. I felt like it would stay more into the corner, and it was better. Yeah, I had more steering. I felt the car was landing also a little bit better. So I kept the 20 grams in the front. If it answered your question, Chris. Just. Peter, about the gluten. Yeah, but the gluten. You wanna know how I glue my tires? That's. I'm gonna go through the comments because I don't remember the first question. If you have any question, just guys, go for it. We are here for that. Hey, Jacob, I almost didn't see your. What Venturi did you go on the low grip track? Hi Nene, what's up? On the low grip track, I still had the 7.5 restrictor. Should I say you that or not? I don't know. No, I go with the 7.5 restrictor. It's the basic setup from the Pico engines. So 7.5, and you open the carb fully. That's the basic setup. That's what's written on the manual, and it's really good. But if the grip is super low and you still feel after what you've done on the clutch, on the gear ratio, that the engine might be too punchy, too aggressive, you can open the carb a little bit less. So like I say, do that only if you have experience. If you just want to have fun and the engine to be stable and not really tuning it, like you're not really feeling confident about the tuning, don't do that. Just open the carb fully and you're gonna be fine with a 7.5 restrictor. But doing something else might be a little bit different. Like if you put a smaller Venturi, for example, like a 6.5, the engine might be more aggressive, like it might be more punchy. So if you go with a 6.5 restrictor, you would think that the engine might be less powerful and you would make it easier to drive, but actually it's not gonna be, because you're gonna have less top speed, but the response is gonna be more aggressive. So make sure that if you go with a 6.5, it's not making it even worse. If you have the feeling that it might be worse, go back to the 7.5. And what you can do with a 7.5 is not open it fully. You open it to 6.5, for example. So you have a 7.5 restrictor, you open the carb only to 6.5, and you tune your engine the way it is, like that with your radio. Because if you tune in without the radio, the tuning is going to be wrong. But if you tune it with the radio and open the carb to 6.5, the whole range is going to be smaller, so you're going to have less power. I don't know if that makes sense for you guys, but it's going to be smoother. You're going to have also a better mileage. But if you do that, make sure that you have some experience tuning your engines, and you know what you're doing. Because every single time, for example, you're going to take out the engine of the car or take out the radio box of the car, everything, just make sure you're still open to 6.5. Because every single time you're going to get your engine out of the car or get the radio box out of the car, the tuning might be like, the radio tuning might be a little bit different, and the tuning of the engine might be different too. So like I said, it's something for really experienced drivers, and if you do that, just make sure the tuning is all right for the engine every single time you go on the track. Yes, I used +5. Yeah, the long shock mount. I think the shock is straighter on the arm like that. I think it absorbs the bumps a little bit better. That's an option I went through directly. Honestly, I didn't try the other ones. I think this is more logical. It's one of the options the other guys from the team were using, so I went straight with those ones. I can't really go back to back and let you know. I will do that later on, but right now, yes, that's what I stick with. Neo is asking, did you use to change a lot the heights to change? Yes. The ride high, yes, I play quite a lot with ride height. My basic setup on that car right now would be 23 in the front, 28 in the back. So right under the chassis there, and there in the back, I'm using 23, 28. That would be the basic setup. If you want more grip, more roll, I would go a little bit higher, so I would go 24, 30. And if the track has a little bit more grip and you want the car to be more into the track, I would go 23, 28, 23, 27, just a little bit lower. The ride high is going to adjust the way the car reacts, the way the car rolls into the corner. So it's for sure changing the weight difference and the weight bias when you go on power, off power. So the ride high is something you can't negligate. Like, it's a setup. So make sure when you go on the track, if you change something on the car, also with the fuel tank full, make sure you set your ride height. it's something that you really need to check. So like I said, the ride height was 23, 28, and the droop. Yes, it's one of the things I work on. I know the other guys from the team was on the setup sheets I've seen were using 101, 118 in the rear. I've been doing that in Padova. I've been doing that in Montpellier warm up at the beginning, and 101, 118 was really good. But I felt sometimes that a little bit more would be better landing the jumps. So I went 102, 119, and I felt my car was like moving more, having more motion on the track, was more into the tracks also, and I like that a lot. I think it was definitely a good setup change. Bladders. I'm using bladders. Yes. Every single time I tried emulsion on any other car, and honestly, I didn't try on the Kyosho yet because I don't see any top driver for Kyosho using emulsion shocks. So I didn't even try. I'm gonna try because I want to have my own impression about it and my own, feeling about it. But every single time, yes, emulsion makes the car stiffer, having like a rigid feeling. So every single time I went out there, I went on bladders. I think the Kyosho bladders are amazing. I just put some foam in it. So I just cut a small slice of tire foam that I stick into the bladder, so the bladder doesn't pop in. And I think it makes the rebound a little bit quicker also. So it gives a little bit more grip. That's one of the things that can improve the setup of the car really easily. Just putting a small chip of tire foam into the bladder, and your car is going to land better, have more grip. So like I say, that's what I was using on the previous cars I had, but I think on the Kyosho it's really working really well. I tried back-to-back in Padova with the bladder and the bladder with the foam, and I think the bladder with the foam makes the car a little bit more reactive also. So I definitely advise you guys to try that. And I think we've been through all the questions. So if you guys have another question for me, let me know. I will be happy to answer. Yes, it was the debrief of the Montpellier Grand Prix warm-up. The race is going to be in 3 weeks. Honestly, I feel really confident. I haven't been doing the warm-ups for the last 3-4 years, I would say. I haven't done the warm-up at all. I was really happy to do the race that time. No reedy race for me this year. So I was not ready for 10 scale yet. Just focusing on 8 scale right now. And I was really happy to be part of it. I learned a lot on Saturday, Sunday, but because it's a race format, you can't really try that many things. But yesterday, I spent the whole day going back to back on the driver's stand, on the track, taking lap times, and I learned a lot. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to go back on the track and try a few things. I know you guys want to have answers also, want to compare your experience, your feelings about the car, about the setups, and I will post the setup that I was finally using yesterday, and that might give you some tips of what I liked, what might be good for you guys, and would be a good starting setup for the Grand Prix. Some of you guys might be there for the race in 3 weeks, so I really advise you to start with that setup because it's really easy to drive, really stable, but still has also a good rotation and really good steering. So it's gonna be in French also next week. We're probably gonna do a tutorial with French because I know we have many Frenchies here. Chris is saying that the bladder was more consistent. Yes, that's something. Ola is asking about the servo saver. I was running my servo saver pretty loose. I don't know if you can see from here. Yes, maybe more. So it's a little bit tighter than what it comes with in the kit. I made it tighter. I think it might go tighter a little bit more because sometimes when you land a jump, you can see that the wheels are not really going straight after the jump. So that is pretty stiff, but it's not locked. Davide, I think you can see that video back. Like we went through pretty much every single item on the car for the debrief. So the light purple springs we're using Padova to get more steering. We took it off because the track was pretty high speed in Montpellier, so the car was more precise in those conditions. I think you guys can do your own experience, but yesterday I liked the gray springs better. I think if you're feeling that the car is pushing too much, not enough steering, then you can go red or even light purple in the front. But gray was maybe the more precise. And for me, when I tried in Padova, for example, I didn't like the gray that much. I like the purple better. But yesterday, when I do back-to-back, I like the gray better. I think the car was landing better, and it was more precise. So I think it's one of the things that might change from one track to another. Might go gray on high-speed tracks. Might go purple when low-grip, low-speed tracks. Welcome, Christian. Welcome. Yeah, we're live tonight. Straight out of Montpellier. I think I answered your question pretty well. I hope. Yes. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. Waiting for more comments. More people also. And I'm not saying anything. So if you don't have any questions, just let me know. That video is gonna be online after. So if you have any question, don't hesitate. Just drop your question there or send me a message on Reno Savoia, my Facebook page, and I will be happy to answer. Stay tuned on the Kyosho Europe page. The setups we were using with Ryan will be posted tomorrow. So it can give you a good idea of the track you've seen from the videos to the setup we've been using. And if you have some tracks that look the same in your house or your place and you want to have the setup or just the starting setup you want for the Grand Prix, just, go this way. Thank you, Christophe. I know you are good in English, so yes, I've seen you guys like that. I think we have many Kyosho lovers in Europe, and I know I was doing the tutorials in French, and I know that I need to do it more in English, so it will help. Jacob is asking why 2 air filters, fuel filters. No, it's not a air filter. It's a gas cooler. So the second huge thing that I have here is a gas cooler, like I said in my last tutorial, but it was in French. Sorry about that. It's in order to save fuel. So it's cooling down the pressure line, and we're saving fuel thanks to that. It's almost 30 seconds, I would say. So if using a gas cooler, the mileage is going to be about half a minute better. Depends on the track conditions, depend on the weather conditions, of course. I think if the weather is warm, the gain is going to be a little bit higher. But depends on the engines also, I think. But every single time I tried that, it saves some fuel. I got a better mileage. So you guys can give it a try. You can put a second fuel filter, for example. It might also help. But yeah, if you guys can try that, I think you might like it. Give it a try. So yeah, setup's gonna be online tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna be live. Also, if you have some subjects that you want us to go with, just let us know. We're gonna do some live videos more often in English, maybe. I know you guys are really there and need answers sometimes, but in live videos or messages, I'm always there to help you guys with all the Kyosho, Pico, AK products. So thank you guys for watching, and see you maybe in a few days. I will be out for the WRC Monte Carlo this weekend, so I'm not gonna be a video live of that thing, but you might see videos from the live there or on my Facebook page. That's one of the things I like to do. Like, it's that weekend, like you go with the friends next to the race and a different race. Sometimes it's really good too. Yeah, AK tires for sure, Michael. We need to do that. Honestly, right now I've been using P1 and typos only. So yeah, we will do a live video on the AK tire wrench. I'll be happy to help you guys with that. I've been really happy with the AK tires so far. Honestly, I've been gluing tires for my entire life, and just gluing the AK tires is amazing. You just clean and glue. Oh, that's the best thing ever. Honestly, I've been using some other brands, and it was not that easy to mount. And not saying about J Concepts because they had amazing products, but some other brands. And I know you guys like pre-mounted, and that's amazing about AKA. Is like you can get pre-mounted. You guys get spoiled. Like I can't get pre-mounted. Pre-mounted, I'm not for pro drivers. I like to glue my tires also because it's always like you know what you're doing, and but I trust those guys to glue the tires really well, and I never heard any AK tires coming included, so you guys are spoiled. I will go near Gap, I think, to watch Monte Carlo. I will have maybe my Kyosho jacket like that around the road, like woo, and maybe you guys are gonna see me on the TV. So, okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you go, guys. And like I said, more questions, more live videos. Let me know. We're gonna be back. Have a nice evening. See you guys. Bye bye.